The day the Galactic Council learned of Earth's decision to leave was the day the galaxy began to change. Earth had always been considered a young and unpredictable member of the Council, often underestimated by older and more experienced civilizations. Dr. Alan Carter had spent many years as Earth's diplomat, negotiating carefully to ensure humans had a place in the Council. He had traveled to countless star systems, met with beings of strange shapes and colors, and learned to read subtle signals in the voices of alien leaders. Yet no matter how much he tried to fit humanity into the Council's strict rules, there was always a sense of disrespect, a feeling that humans were expected to obey rather than lead. When a critical vote came to decide on Earth's future, Dr. Carter realized that the Council did not care about human independence. Representatives from Zorath, Yelmar, and Vintari pushed for restrictions that would limit Earth's ability to defend itself and explore freely. The debate was tense, voices echoing through the council chamber as diplomats argued passionately. Dr. Carter stood firm, his voice steady and clear as he spoke for his people. Humanity could not be controlled, he said. Humanity needed to make its own choices. When the vote ended, the decision was clear. Earth would leave the Galactic Council. News of this decision spread rapidly across the stars, faster than any message the Council had ever sent. Messages reached trading hubs, military fleets, and neutral systems. Fear and uncertainty filled the corridors of power in distant worlds. Many species could not believe that a single planet, small in size and population, would dare to leave an organization that had governed interstellar affairs for centuries. Yet the Council also realized that humans were not to be ignored. They had demonstrated courage, intelligence, and unpredictability that could no longer be underestimated. On Earth, President Daniel Morgan addressed the people with a calm but firm voice. He spoke about the need for independence, about humanity's right to explore and make decisions for itself. He promised that leaving the Council did not mean isolation, but a new era of responsibility and opportunity. Citizens across the globe listened, feeling both pride and anxiety. Some worried about possible retaliation from the Council, while others celebrated the long-awaited chance to shape humanity's own destiny. Meanwhile, preparations for space missions accelerated. Captain Linda Hayes and her crew on the starship Horizon were ready to venture beyond Council-controlled space. They carried scientists, engineers, and soldiers, all prepared to face unknown dangers and explore uncharted regions. The crew trained rigorously, running simulations and preparing for scenarios that might never come but could not be ignored. On the horizon, the atmosphere was a mix of excitement and tension. Crew members shared stories of their training and past missions, laughing at memories but also aware of the challenges ahead. Dr. Evelyn Ross, the ship's archaeologist, reviewed data about regions of space that were largely unexplored. She hoped that humanity's independence would lead to discoveries that no one had yet imagined. Signals from unknown parts of the galaxy appeared on the horizon's instruments, some showing curiosity, others potential hostility. Humanity's decision had made them a topic of interest and concern. On Earth, President Morgan and his advisors worked tirelessly to form alliances with other independent systems. They reached out to worlds that had previously been ignored or considered insignificant. Slowly, a network of potential allies began to emerge, species that valued freedom and innovation over rigid control. Every decision was carefully weighed, knowing that a mistake could have consequences across the galaxy. Back on the horizon, the crew navigated through strange regions, encountering phenomena that challenged their understanding of physics and biology. Strange signals hinted at civilizations long forgotten, while mysterious energy patterns suggested dangers and opportunities. Captain Hayes led her team with confidence, making decisions that combined caution with boldness. Humanity's journey outside the Council was not just about survival. It was about proving that humans could thrive independently. At the same time, the Galactic Council scrambled to respond. Emergency meetings were held and envoys were sent to understand why Earth had chosen to leave. Some members feared that other young civilizations might follow humanity's example, weakening the Council's influence. Others underestimated humans, believing that Earth would eventually return under pressure. But humanity had made a firm choice, one based on courage, intelligence, and the desire for freedom. Dr. Carter continued to communicate with various species, explaining humanity's vision and the reasons for leaving. His calm, clear, and reasoned words began to reach leaders who were initially skeptical. Slowly, some began to see that humans were not reckless but strategic, capable of making decisions that balanced risk and opportunity. On Earth, scientists worked on new technologies to ensure security and self-sufficiency. Engineers designed faster ships, advanced defensive systems, and communication networks that could operate independently of Council control. Every innovation reinforced the sense that humanity was ready to face the galaxy on its own terms. As Earth completed its preparations, the Starship Horizon ventured further into uncharted space. The crew faced challenges that tested their skills, teamwork, and ingenuity. Each day brought discoveries and dangers, lessons that would shape humanity's future. They encountered alien species who were surprised by human resilience, curiosity, and adaptability. Messages from Earth encouraged the crew, reminding them that they were pioneers on a journey that would inspire generations. Across the galaxy, the news of Earth's departure continued to create ripples. Some species feared conflict, others admired humanity's boldness, and a few quietly plotted to exploit the uncertainty. Humanity had become a force that no one could ignore, a small but determined planet capable of shaping events across the stars. In this first chapter of independence, humans faced fear and opportunity, danger and hope. They had left the Council not to defy it, but to prove that they could survive, thrive, and grow on their own. The galaxy watched with anticipation, realizing that a new era had begun, one in which humans would write their own destiny. Through courage, intelligence, and determination, Earth was no longer just a planet among many. It was a symbol of independence, a challenge to old powers, and a promise of new possibilities. Humanity's journey had begun, and the universe would never be the same. Captain Linda Hayes stood on the bridge of the Starship Horizon, watching the stars stretch and shift as they left Council-controlled space. The crew moved with purpose, their routines honed through months of preparation. Each member knew that this mission was more than exploration. It was a test of humanity's ability to survive alone in the galaxy. Dr. Evelyn Ross reviewed data from distant star systems, her eyes lighting up as strange energy readings appeared on her screen. "Captain, there is something unusual in this sector," she said, pointing at the display. Linda nodded. "Keep monitoring it. We cannot take any risks." Communication with Earth was constant but limited, delayed by the distance that grew with each light year traveled. President Daniel Morgan and his advisors continued to work tirelessly, forging connections with independent systems that had watched humanity leave the Council with curiosity and fear. Each new alliance was a cautious step, built on trust and mutual need. The Horizon soon encountered a patrol from a species called the Krell, their ship sleek and silent, moving with precision. The Krell had long considered humans unpredictable, yet their approach was cautious. Linda ordered the ship to open communications. A Krell officer appeared on the view screen, her blue eyes wide with surprise. "Humans, we did not expect you to venture this far alone," she said. Linda replied calmly, "We are capable of making our own path. We mean no harm unless provoked." The Krell officer studied the humans, then nodded. "Your courage is noted. We will allow passage, but do not test us." After the encounter, the crew reflected on the first taste of life outside Council control. They were not invincible, but they had proven that caution, intelligence, and diplomacy could keep them safe. Meanwhile, Dr. Ross discovered remnants of an ancient civilization on a small, uncharted planet. The ruins suggested a species that had once thrived and then vanished without warning. She studied the structures carefully, noting energy patterns and symbols that hinted at advanced technology. Captain Hayes saw the potential immediately. "This could teach us a lot about survival, about technology we never knew existed," she said. Engineers and scientists on the Horizon began analyzing samples and data, working tirelessly to uncover secrets hidden for millennia. As the ship continued its journey, signals from other species appeared on their instruments. Some were curious, some hostile, and others simply watched. Humanity's exit from the Council had made them a subject of fascination and concern. Back on Earth, President Morgan received reports of the Horizon's discoveries and encounters. He shared the information with the Council, although the Council's leaders dismissed it as minor. They underestimated humans again, assuming Earth could not influence the galaxy significantly. But Morgan knew better. He knew the strength of human ingenuity, the ability to adapt and overcome challenges that seemed insurmountable. Humanity was no longer a member of the Council, yet its influence began to grow beyond Earth's orbit. Trade networks, independent colonies, and neutral systems started sending messages of interest, requesting information and sometimes assistance. Each interaction strengthened humanity's position and expanded its knowledge. Captain Hayes and her crew faced both challenges and opportunities. In one sector, they encountered a group of traders under attack by a hostile species. Without hesitation, the Horizon intervened, using defensive tactics that minimized harm while protecting the traders. The rescued group expressed gratitude and offered supplies and information in return. It was a small victory, but it reinforced a growing reputation for humans as both courageous and reliable allies. Dr. Ross continued her research, uncovering technologies from the ancient civilization that could improve propulsion systems, energy efficiency, and defensive capabilities. The team worked together, combining science, engineering, and experience to create solutions that even the Council had not anticipated. The journey was not without danger. Strange energy storms threatened the horizon, and creatures from uncharted regions challenged their defenses. Yet each trial strengthened the crew, proving that humans could adapt quickly and respond effectively under pressure. President Morgan coordinated with allies, forming tentative agreements for trade and mutual support. These alliances were built on respect, recognizing humanity's determination and skill. Slowly, fear of conflict shifted to cautious admiration among those who had once dismissed Earth as insignificant. Messages from neutral species confirmed the change in perception. Humans were no longer seen as weak or reckless. They were resourceful, intelligent, and capable of independent action. Captain Hayes reflected on the progress. "Every encounter teaches us something new," she said to her crew. "We are learning not just to survive, but to thrive outside Council control." The Horizon continued its journey, exploring uncharted regions, establishing contacts, and discovering technology that could shape the future. Humanity's path was uncertain, but every step was deliberate and measured. Each mission, each discovery, each diplomatic encounter added to the growing understanding that humans were a force to be respected. The galaxy watched carefully, learning that a small planet with determination and ingenuity could change the balance of power. Earth and its starship had begun to prove that independence was not weakness, but a chance to demonstrate resilience, intelligence, and courage. Humanity was learning that freedom came with responsibility, and with responsibility came opportunity to shape not just their own future, but the future of the galaxy. In this second stage of their journey, humans faced uncertainty with courage, exploration with curiosity, and diplomacy with wisdom. Each day brought new experiences, new challenges, and new victories that confirmed one truth: leaving the Council was only the beginning, and humanity was ready to meet the galaxy on its own terms. The galaxy was beginning to notice Earth's departure from the Council, and not in a quiet way. Traders, politicians, and ordinary citizens on distant planets all discussed the unexpected boldness of humanity. Reports of the starship Horizon and its crew spread quickly. Captain Linda Hayes guided the ship through strange star systems, where uncharted planets orbited suns that burned with unusual colors. The crew faced challenges daily, testing their skills, knowledge, and patience. Dr. Evelyn Ross worked tirelessly, exploring ancient ruins on a deserted planet that seemed abandoned for thousands of years. The structures hinted at technology far beyond what any current civilization possessed. Symbols on walls, strange energy cores, and mechanical devices suggested a species that had once thrived but disappeared mysteriously. Dr. Ross believed these ruins could teach humans vital lessons about survival, energy sources, and even defense mechanisms. Captain Hayes supported the research but remained cautious. "We must remember that what we find here may have dangers we cannot yet understand," she said, reminding the crew to take precautions. While exploring, the Horizon received signals from other species observing them from a distance. Some were curious, sending messages to establish contact. Others remained hidden, possibly assessing humans as a threat. Humanity's decision to leave the Council had placed them under a spotlight, and every action was being watched. On Earth, President Daniel Morgan and his team worked tirelessly to maintain communication with the Horizon and develop alliances. Independent systems, previously ignored or dismissed, showed interest in forming connections with Earth. These worlds respected humanity's boldness and were eager to see what humans could accomplish without the Council's oversight. Messages from some leaders expressed cautious admiration, while others hinted at concern, wondering how far humans might go and whether they could challenge existing powers. On board the Horizon, the crew faced another test when they encountered a fleet of the Vantari, a species known for aggression and strict control over their territory. The Vantari demanded to know the Horizon's purpose in their region. Captain Hayes remained firm. "We are explorers seeking knowledge and peaceful contact," she replied. The Vantari examined the ship with suspicion, scanning its hull and internal systems. After tense hours, they allowed the Horizon to continue, warning humans not to interfere with local affairs. This encounter reinforced the reality of being independent. Humanity could no longer rely on Council protection and had to navigate the galaxy with caution and intelligence. Dr. Ross's discoveries continued to astonish the crew. Devices within the ancient ruins suggested energy sources that could power ships for years without refueling. Schematics hinted at propulsion methods that might allow faster travel across distant star systems. Engineers began experimenting, using human creativity to adapt ancient designs for modern use. The Horizon itself was upgraded with new technologies, making it more efficient and resilient than when it first left Council space. These improvements were crucial, as communication delays with Earth increased with every light year traveled. Humanity was learning not just to survive, but to innovate in ways that left Council expectations behind. On Earth, President Morgan received reports of the Horizon's encounters and the discoveries made on distant planets. The information was carefully analyzed, and plans were developed to use these insights for defense, exploration, and diplomatic missions. Alliances with neutral species were strengthened, and tentative trade agreements were established. Every new partnership increased humanity's influence outside the Council, proving that independence could lead to growth and respect. Captain Hayes reflected on the journey so far. "We are learning to face the unknown without fear," she told her crew. "Every system we explore, every encounter we survive, strengthens humanity's place in the galaxy." The crew continued to encounter both friendly and hostile species. Some approached with curiosity and offered information, while others tested the humans with challenges designed to assess strength, strategy, and adaptability. The Horizon navigated through these encounters with a combination of caution and courage. The galaxy began to understand that humans were no longer predictable. They were innovative, resourceful, and unafraid of taking risks that could lead to progress. On Earth, the government leveraged the Horizon's reports to prepare for future developments. Plans for additional ships, research stations, and communication hubs were initiated. Humanity was laying the groundwork for a future that was independent, self-sufficient, and respected across distant star systems. Throughout this period, the Horizon discovered more evidence of civilizations that had risen and fallen. Each ruin offered lessons about advancement, hubris, and survival. Dr. Ross compiled these findings, noting similarities to human history and potential strategies for avoiding similar fates. The crew realized that knowledge from the past was as valuable as technology for shaping a secure future. Tensions occasionally arose as crew members faced dangers and uncertainty. Yet these challenges also fostered stronger teamwork and deeper trust. Humans relied on intelligence, communication, and cooperation to navigate situations that might have been impossible for other species. Humanity's journey was not just exploration, it was a demonstration of resilience and determination. As the Horizon continued its mission, distant observers in the galaxy recorded each move with attention. Some species secretly admired humanity's boldness, while others planned how to counterbalance this unexpected force. The Council continued to watch, realizing that underestimating humans had been a mistake. Earth was no longer a passive member of the Council. It was a growing power capable of shaping events far beyond its borders. In this stage of humanity's independence, lessons were learned, alliances formed, and reputations built. Captain Hayes and her crew understood the importance of their work. Humanity was proving that it could face the galaxy's challenges, navigate its dangers, and use opportunities to grow stronger. Independence was no longer a choice. It was a path to influence, respect, and survival. The Horizon moved forward into uncharted space, carrying humans into the unknown. Each encounter, each discovery, and each strategic decision reinforced the truth. Leaving the Council was not the end of safety or progress, but the beginning of humanity's rise in a galaxy that was just beginning to recognize their potential. Captain Linda Hayes guided the Starship Horizon deeper into uncharted regions, where stars glowed in colors unfamiliar to human eyes. Every day brought new discoveries, challenges, and opportunities for the crew. The ship's sensors picked up signals from distant systems, some welcoming, others cautious, and a few openly hostile. Humanity's departure from the Council had made them a subject of curiosity, admiration, and fear across the galaxy. Commander Samuel Blake coordinated missions to assist smaller independent systems under threat from aggressive neighbors. Humans were no longer just explorers. They were becoming a force capable of influencing events beyond their own planet. Each mission tested the crew's courage and ingenuity, teaching lessons that could not be learned on Earth alone. Dr. Evelyn Ross continued her research on ancient ruins discovered during earlier journeys. The technology left behind by vanished civilizations was both a mystery and an opportunity. Human engineers adapted these designs to improve the horizon, making it faster, more efficient, and better protected. Communication with Earth was maintained through long-range transmitters, allowing President Daniel Morgan to make informed decisions. On Earth, scientists worked on new propulsion systems, advanced defensive technologies, and independent energy sources. Humanity was preparing not only to explore but also to protect itself and its allies. Diplomatic efforts increased as neutral species showed interest in forming relationships with Earth. Dr. Alan Carter traveled to distant systems, explaining humanity's vision and establishing preliminary agreements. Slowly, humans gained the respect of worlds that had once dismissed them as weak and insignificant. Encounters with aggressive species became opportunities to demonstrate human strategy and restraint. Captain Hayes emphasized careful observation, negotiation, and defense rather than rash attacks. The Horizon defended trade routes, rescued fleets under threat, and mediated disputes, earning admiration and trust from various civilizations. The crew's reputation grew, and Earth became known not just for leaving the Council, but for proving the value of intelligence, courage, and adaptability. Dr. Ross's findings from ancient civilizations provided insight into energy efficiency, long-distance travel, and advanced communications. Human engineers incorporated these discoveries into new ships and technologies, giving Earth an edge over older, complacent species. Captain Hayes reflected on the transformation. "We are no longer just travelers," she said. "We are builders of alliances, explorers, and defenders of those who seek help." Back on Earth, President Morgan and his advisors monitored developments closely. Alliances strengthened, trade routes expanded, and communication networks improved. Humanity's independent stance became a model for other species seeking freedom from the Council's control. Tension sometimes arose as hostile forces tested human capabilities. Each challenge taught lessons in strategy, teamwork, and innovation. Humans adapted quickly, using intelligence and creativity to overcome threats that might have overwhelmed less resourceful civilizations. The galaxy began to recognize humans as unpredictable but capable, a species whose potential could not be underestimated. Across uncharted systems, humans helped stabilize regions, build relationships, and spread knowledge. Each effort reinforced the perception that humanity was resourceful, reliable, and determined to shape its own destiny. The Horizon continued to explore, encountering new species and uncharted planets. Captain Hayes and her crew remained vigilant, aware that independence carried responsibility as well as opportunity. Humanity's influence grew quietly but steadily, building a foundation for a future in which Earth could thrive without Council oversight. Lessons from ancient civilizations and contemporary encounters combined to shape humanity's approach. Technology, diplomacy, and courage worked together, allowing humans to operate effectively in unpredictable and sometimes dangerous environments. President Morgan coordinated efforts from Earth, guiding policies and strengthening alliances. Each decision was informed by data from the Horizon and reports from friendly and neutral species. Humanity was no longer passive, but an active participant in shaping galactic affairs. Dr. Ross's research continued to yield new ideas, from propulsion systems capable of longer journeys to energy sources that allowed self-sufficiency. Human engineers applied these concepts to ships, stations, and infrastructure, enhancing capabilities and safety. Captain Hayes oversaw these upgrades, ensuring that the Horizon could meet future challenges with confidence and efficiency. Encounters with hostile species tested the crew's ingenuity. Every skirmish, negotiation, and rescue mission reinforced human abilities to adapt and thrive. Strategies relied on observation, communication, and rapid problem-solving, demonstrating skills that impressed even the most skeptical observers. Humanity's growing presence inspired both admiration and caution among other species. While some envied human progress, others recognized the potential benefits of cooperation. Diplomatic channels remained open, and Earth positioned itself as a partner rather than a threat, despite its independence. On Earth, preparations continued for further exploration and defense. New ships were constructed, research stations established, and alliances strengthened. The planet was ready to support its pioneers, ensuring that independence could be sustained over the long term. Captain Hayes reflected on the journey. "Every day we learn something new," she said. "Every encounter teaches us how to survive and thrive on our own." The horizon moved steadily into the unknown, discovering new systems, interacting with diverse civilizations, and strengthening humanity's place in the galaxy. Independence had brought challenges, but it had also created opportunities to demonstrate intelligence, courage, and resourcefulness. Humanity was proving that leaving the Council was not an act of defiance alone, but a step toward a future where Earth could shape its own destiny. The galaxy watched with a mix of awe, curiosity, and concern. Humans had become a force whose abilities and intentions could no longer be ignored. Captain Hayes and her crew continued to explore, learn, and lead, proving that independence required responsibility, courage, and vision. Every action, every discovery, and every alliance reinforced the truth. Humanity was ready to thrive beyond the Council, shaping its own future while influencing the galaxy around it. By the time Earth had fully established its independence, multiple species across the galaxy had begun forming alliances with humans. Captain Linda Hayes and the crew of the Starship Horizon continued to explore uncharted systems, documenting strange planets, energy sources, and alien species. Each mission reinforced humanity's growing reputation as a capable and reliable force. President Daniel Morgan monitored developments on Earth, coordinating with allies and planning for a future in which humans would thrive without Council control. The galaxy watched as a species once considered young and insignificant demonstrated remarkable resourcefulness and determination. On board the Horizon, crew members reflected on the progress they had made. Dr. Evelyn Ross continued her research, uncovering technologies from ancient civilizations that were adapted to enhance ship systems, energy efficiency, and defense. Captain Hayes led the crew through challenges, using diplomacy, intelligence, and strategy to navigate encounters with both friendly and hostile species. These missions were more than exploration. They were tests of human ingenuity and adaptability. Earth became a hub for cooperation among independent systems. Trade routes expanded, scientific knowledge was shared, and political influence grew. Humanity's reputation shifted from unpredictability to respect and admiration. Smaller civilizations, once intimidated by older species, began reaching out to humans, recognizing that Earth had the ability to provide guidance, assistance, and protection. Diplomatic efforts intensified as Dr. Alan Carter traveled to distant worlds, negotiating alliances, mediating disputes, and demonstrating humanity's willingness to cooperate without domination. At the same time, humans learned valuable lessons from their encounters. They discovered species that thrived in extreme conditions, technologies that had been forgotten, and strategies that could be adapted for defense or exploration. Every experience contributed to Earth's growing understanding of the galaxy and its potential. Conflicts arose as well. Some species resented humanity's influence and sought to challenge it. Captain Hayes and her crew faced these threats with care, using strategy, skill, and negotiation rather than sheer force. Their success reinforced the message that humans were capable of managing their independence responsibly. On Earth, scientists developed new propulsion systems and energy technologies, inspired by discoveries from the Horizon's missions. Engineers applied lessons learned from ancient civilizations to create more efficient and resilient ships. The combined efforts of explorers, scientists, and leaders strengthened humanity's position and ensured that independence could be maintained over the long term. Humanity's journey had changed the galaxy. Species that once dismissed humans as weak now recognized their courage, intelligence, and adaptability. Fear of human unpredictability transformed into respect, and admiration sometimes edged toward envy. Earth's influence continued to expand, not through conquest but through diplomacy, innovation, and reliability. Captain Hayes reflected on the long journey. "We have proven that humans can thrive on our own," she said to her crew. "We are explorers, allies, and innovators. The galaxy has learned that we are capable of much more than anyone expected." As the Horizon continued its voyage, new discoveries awaited. Unknown planets, mysterious energy fields, and alien species offered opportunities for learning, cooperation, and growth. Every encounter strengthened humanity's ability to thrive independently while shaping the future of the galaxy. President Morgan addressed Earth's citizens, reminding them of the journey they had undertaken. Humanity had left the Council not out of defiance alone, but out of a desire to take responsibility for its own future. Independence had brought challenges, but it had also created opportunities to demonstrate intelligence, courage, and resourcefulness. Across the galaxy, humans were no longer seen as a minor species. They were respected as capable, innovative, and determined to shape their own destiny. Alliances formed with neutral and friendly species strengthened human influence, ensuring that Earth had partners to rely on in both exploration and defense. The Horizon's missions continued to provide valuable knowledge and establish humanity's reputation as a force to be respected and trusted. Humanity had become a symbol of possibility and resilience. Leaving the Council had shown that independence was achievable, and that a species could grow stronger when trusted to make its own decisions. Captain Hayes and her crew exemplified human determination and skill, proving that exploration, diplomacy, and innovation could thrive without interference. Earth had changed the balance of power in the galaxy, not through aggression but through intelligence, courage, and the ability to adapt. Humanity's journey demonstrated that even a single planet, small in comparison to vast empires, could shape events far beyond its borders. By taking responsibility for its own future, Earth had not only survived but had become a respected and influential member of the galactic community. Independence had been the first step, but humanity's choices, actions, and ingenuity had ensured that its place in the galaxy would endure. The universe watched in awe as humans thrived, and the story of their courage and resourcefulness spread to every corner of known space. Through exploration, diplomacy, and innovation, humanity had proven that leaving the Council was not an end, but a beginning. The galaxy had learned a lesson it would not forget. Humans were capable, adaptable, and determined to shape their own destiny, and in doing so, they had changed the future of the universe forever.